Hey, thanks for tuning in, guys. Today, I have the pleasure of meeting Chris Castellano, Senior Vice President for Camros Fall Corp. We're going to discuss about the up-and-coming and very highly anticipated Exchange District 3 in the heart of Mississauga. And Chris, thank you for your time, and tell us what makes Exchange District so special, because we've had a blast selling EX1, EX2, and with EX3 coming around just around the corner, it's very exciting. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that you guys offer. Fantastic location, fantastic amenities, amazing finishes. So what makes EX3 stand out?
Sure. Well, first of all, Saurabh, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure working with you and your whole team.
Thank you.
You guys are some of the best producers in EX1 and EX2, so very excited to partner with you again for EX3.
Thank you.
There's a lot of things that makes EX3 a very sought after location. Mm-hmm. Before we jump into that, though, I want to talk about the developer Camros, because I think for your investors and your clients, that's that's one of the big selling points,
sure.
Right? The location is incredible. You know it very well. The developer, very strong history. And lastly, we'll talk a bit about the building, so your clients know what they'll be getting into. Mm-hmm. So Camros, we've been around for over 45 years now, very prolific developers here in the GTA. And over the past couple of decades, we've really started to specialize in master plan communities.
Yeah.
And that's what makes EX3 so unique, is that it exists in a true master plan community. So, we've searched far and wide to bring in some incredible consultants and architects to this project. Mm-hmm. So our entire retail space has been developed by BDP architects out of London, England, working in conjunction with IBI architects, award-winning architects from here in Toronto, to really develop a community that's more than just a set of buildings, right? We have an expansive pedestrian piazza where people will be able to meet and host, and also we'll have seasonal pop-ups there, different sort of cafes and restaurants.
Right.
We've got curated retail along the base of the project, as well as a grocery store that'll be coming. So Exchange 3, what makes it so unique and what makes Exchange so unique is that it really is this master plan community that purchasers are able to buy into.
Very nice. Now, when we were selling EX1 and EX2, I think it's safe to say you guys set a benchmark with not only standards, but also the prices. Are we, what can we expect with EX3? And I'm not asking for numbers, but are we doing anything differently in EX3 compared to the previous two towers?
For sure. I think, Camros, our slogan is building excellence. Yes. And no matter what we do or where we go, we always strive to build excellence. So in EX3 really takes a lot of cues from EX1 and EX2, the incredible successful towers we had that we launched 2 years ago. And so you'll see a lot of similar things in the three buildings. You'll see the same strong brand partnerships we had with Trevisana Kitchens out of Italy, with Kohler plumbing fixtures, with Latch for smart access, as well as Fulgor Milano for our amenity packages. Right. Then, we're bringing new and exciting things to EX3 like geothermal. So we put a geothermal field in for EX3 because when we were looking at future-proofing the building, we noticed that this was a great avenue to help control costs for your purchasers, your investors long-term, as well as to add, a more sustainable way of heating and cooling the building. So EX3 will have those things that your investors and purchasers have come to appreciate in Camros buildings, right? Strong finishes, incredible layouts, a very expansive amenity offering, and also have things that will differentiate them from other buildings in the area, like the geothermal.
Right. Now, we touched upon the master plan community. Mm-hmm. I feel with the past few projects, the word has been thrown around too many times.
Sure.
When we saw the initial plans for the first tower, and obviously being part of the whole same community, the second tower and the third tower, what does Exchange District bring to the table when it's a grand master plan community? And literally, so it is one, because It's got commercial, it's got cafes, as you mentioned, it's got pretty much the whole shebang.
Right. So I think that's a really interesting point that you brought up. I think a lot of projects today call themselves a master plan community, and they just slap a RABA in the base and call it a day and move on with their lives. What we've done differently at Exchange is we've designed the entire thing for how the ground level speaks to the pedestrian realm. So what do I mean by that is, if you notice, the way we've constructed and designed the buildings is that there's no parking above grade, right? All the parking is underground.
That's right.
Which frees up the ground level for cafes, restaurants, retailers, things like that. So more than just creating one or two commercial spaces and calling it a day, we've actively designed it with restaurant partners in mind, with retailers in mind, with grocery stores in mind. And we've created spaces for these partners to just slide in. We can't announce it quite yet, but we will in the short future be announcing some incredible partnerships that we have that will really help bring this space to life. Some incredible, Toronto and internationally renowned brands that will be joining us to bring this true master plan community to life.
Now, my final question to you is, there's so many options. There's so many projects in Mississauga itself.
Right.
What makes Exchange 3 District stand out, and why should my investors choose EX3?
Great question. I think, we talked about at the beginning, every investor really looks for three things, right? The location. And I think the location of EX3 is paramount. You're
definitely
across the street from Square One. If you kick a ball hard enough, you'll hit a highway. You're right next to the LRT. You're right next to the, let's call it the municipal district with City Hall, the library, all that stuff. You're a stone's throw away from Sheraton College and all these other places. So checking off the first box of location is paramount. It truly is center ice in downtown Mississauga. The second really is the developer profile. Camros, like I mentioned, we've been around 45 years. We have an incredible history of producing very high-end buildings and some marquee buildings all across the GTA. When you look at our history and you look how successful our projects have been, you can really take solace in knowing that Camros, we've been around the block a time or two, we know what we're doing, and we know how to deliver what we promise, which I think is a very big thing in today's world. And lastly, the suites. I think at the end of the day, for most of your purchasers, whether they be end residents or whether they're going to be investors, when you look at the types of layouts that Camros produces, they're really designed with the end user in mind. Because at the end of the day, your purchaser, more than looking at a piece of paper and more than looking at a price per square foot number, has to live within those walls. So we really create places that when they move in, it's a livable space. You have proper defined bedrooms, washrooms, dens, living areas, dining rooms. And I think at Exchange, as you've seen in the first two buildings that will carry through to the third building, you have the whole gamut from 1 bedrooms to 1+ dens to 2 bedrooms to 2+ dens. And you really have that accessibility at almost every price point and every unit type. So at the end of the day, for those three reasons, that's what makes Exchange such an interesting purchase for your clients.
Perfect. Now, I promised you this was going to be my last question, but one more thing that pops up is we've had some really fantastic floor plans in EX1 and EX2. Can we expect something similar in
so I think
the third tower?
Yes. So it'll definitely be very similar. I think we found a lot of good floor plans and usable space in EX1 and EX2. There will definitely be modifications. You will be seeing some new designs coming out. But based on where we've seen the market go and based on everything that's been happening in the market, I think you can expect, the typical fantastic Camros floor plans in this building.
And we would expect nothing less from you guys. If you want to invest in Exchange District third tower, if you missed EX1, EX2, this is your last opportunity to get in. Contact me or my team. Call me at 647-864-8844 or visit the website below and get in touch with us. Get your unit before it's too late.